How did you guys get here? I was gonna make a cake, but now that you're here, I really do need to talk to you about some things. So you guys can watch me make this cake while I talk to you. All right, so now that you're here, I'm gonna make this cake while I talk to you about my film. So, still watching one of the biggest movies out there, slasher horror films out there right now. And so basically one question I've been getting about the film a lot is how did my production skills develop with this movie? So basically before this movie, I never really shot anything this big. So I didn't really know too much about camera angles, camera movements. So when we first started shooting, we didn't really worry too much about camera angles, camera movements, stuff like that, the details. So our film wasn't the greatest. It was pretty bad. But as I started studying more into like horror films, slashers, especially ones that were doing successfully, then I got an idea of what camera angles and what camera movements I needed in my film. Alright guys, so we got the cake mix in here. So all we need to do now is add the eggs. But while I talk to you about my editing. So basically for editing, before this movie, I'd never really edited before. So I had no idea what I was doing when I first started editing. So at first, like when I first started editing the first pieces together and I watched it all together, it was very choppy, very ugly, and it was just not good. But as my editing skills started developing with the movie, the cuts started looking smoother, looking better. And on top of that, I would add sound effects to the clip to make it suspenseful, scary, since it is a horror slasher film. So yeah, that's how my editing skills developed with the movie. Okay guys, so we have I don't know if you can see the cake and the eggs in there. I don't know if you can see the eggs, but the eggs are in there. So now all we have to do is add a cup of milk. So obviously I talked about shooting the camera angles, the movement, and the editing. Another crucial part to my film production skills was definitely mise-en-scène and the costumes and the wordplay that we used. So for this film, as you know, it was a horror slasher film. So one thing that I didn't know when I first started that mattered really importantly was the costumes used by the characters, how they talked, how they presented themselves. And not only that, but the lighting. The lighting was very important. So as you know, the house was really dark, except that one room that the kids were in, showing that they were the only ones in there, and it was super isolated. And what they wore, just like the killer, they wore all black, giving it that scary, intense feeling every time the killer was shown, like in POV. Alright guys, so we have everything here in the cake mix now. So now we just gotta mix it. So I would say my production skills have took a far jump when I first started. I didn't even know how to shoot camera angles. I learned all of the camera angles and shots that I would need. I learned all the editing that I would need as well. I got better at editing. And then on top of that editing, I learned about everything behind it. The lighting, the mise-en-scène, the costumes, how the characters would talk. And with all of that into my arsenal, all I had to do was mix it up, and I just like the cake, and I would have an awesome film. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you the final result of the cake. Alright guys, so this is the final result of the cake. Just go ahead and check out Still Watching. It's in theaters right now. Go check it out.